Hello everybody, today we are going to practice the things that we have learned so far, so arithmetic operators and variables. Let's imagine a situation like that. You are in Europe and you need to pay taxes, like for example value added tax that is added to the product. The tax is called VAT, from value added tax, okay? So this tax is added to the product. And we want to add these tags to the products. Like what? Like, for example, shoes and, for example, TV, whatever. So let's create a variable that we hold the price without the tax, the price of shoes. And let's assign to it 100, price of TV, and let's assign to it, for example, 2000. And the price without tax is called net price, okay? Like that. And now we will create variable that will hold the gross price, so the price with the value added tax added. Okay, so it equals to what? 100, and now, for example, multiplied by 125. Okay, let's imagine that we've just added 25% to the shoes, to that price, and this is the VAT, right? And well, this works, but why shouldn't we reuse the variable from here? It's a good idea to reuse it, right? Like that. Let's now use the Shift plus Home, Control plus C, and Enter, Control plus V. As you can see, shortcuts are really impressive and they can be helpful. And now let's do something like that. And now let's change net to gross, and we need the price of TV. And now it works fine, right? We can run the program, and now we can ask for the gross price of shoes. As you can see, it works fine, and gross price of TV. Everything works fine. But well, the VAT, I think, should be in another variable. Why? Because let's imagine that we have got lots of variables. Well, the truth is that right now the value for the shoes and TV, we put it manually here, right? But the truth is that we would probably retrieve these values from database, and we would retrieve here, for example, 100 variables, 100 values like that, or maybe more, maybe 2000. Imagine that this program is enormous, and one day somebody changed the VAT from 25 to, for example, 20. Can you imagine yourself changing each line? Imagine that you have got here lots of lines like that, right? Lots of lines. And you have to now change from 25 to 20. Okay, you could probably use some editor to do it for you, but it would be so unprofessional, right? You repeat yourself so many times. That's not a good idea. That's why you can create another variable and hold inside it, for example, the VAT, the actual VAT, 25, for example. So how to now do something like multiplication like that? Well, we could do something like that. 1 plus 25 divided by 100, right? 25 divided by 100 is really 0.25. So we can do something like that. And the problem is that, well, this thing is equal to 1.25 like before, but there is an order of what should be multiplied first, divided first, or added first. The order right now is like that. You do this thing, then you do this thing, and then you add the result from this to this. And we do not want it to work like that. We need to change the order using parentheses. So we're gonna do something like that. So we've just changed the order, right? And well, now we can run the program, and as you can see, it works fine. And the cool thing is that when somebody now changes the VAT to, for example, 20, we can just change it in one place and it still works fine. Even if we had many gross prices here. Great. The next very important thing you should know is that when you see something like that, so when you see the repeated many times, even 2 times, right? But imagine that the calculation like that is repeated here 1000 times. So every time your computer needs to divide and add the result of this division to 1. So it takes time. This thing will never change, right? That expression here. Or maybe if we wanted to change it, we would need to change it in every possible place. So it would also take lots of time. We could just create another variable, calculated VAT, for example, like that. And now, as you can see, our program will still run fine. So gross price of shoes. But the cool thing is that the calculation is done only once here, and you store the calculation inside variable, right? So you store it in your memory, in the RAM, in the random access memory. Yes, that's why you need RAM. You store there the variables, and you can access this memory anytime you want without having to count again to calculate this thing again. You just calculate it once and then you reuse it. So imagine that you have got here, as I had said earlier, many times lines like that, and because you did it here, not here every time, you needed to calculate it only once and you just reuse that value. That's why variables are so good. And also, if you wanted to change somehow the calculation, you would do it only here once. You wouldn't need to do it so many times. So every time you feel like you could change the calculation that is done many times, it's a good idea to create a variable, right? Okay. Oh, it was looking like that. So that's all in that lesson. I suggest you to create a few more products and calculate the gross price of that product as the exercise. Remember that you should exercise after each of lecture. You should do the same things that I did in the lecture. Remember, you will never be a programmer without practicing. Okay? That's only the lesson. Thank you very much.